So, good evening, good morning, good night, depending on where you're connecting with us. It's another beautiful day right here from the city of Jos. But then I'm also traveling to Uganda. Uh, but then before I introduce my dear brother and friend, it's once again the I conversation right here on the Replica Church. It's always a very, very exciting opportunity to come your way, and this is because you matter to God. I mean, God has a big, big purpose and a big agenda for your life. It doesn't matter what you're going through, it doesn't matter what you have gone through, it doesn't even matter what you will go through. God has a plan for you. You matter to Him. You are not a mistake. You are not living by chance. Rather, we're living within this purposeful agenda of our great and mighty God, and we are also part of his story. Jesus has drawn us into his story, and that is why it's always exciting to come your way. This is one of the conversations on Replica Church where I bring together conversations around the environment, young people, and entrepreneurship. And it's a rewarding time. Today, I would be speaking with a very good friend, Trinity. Trinity is speaking to me all the way from Uganda. He has been a very
Yes.
dear brother and a very dear friend. Trinity, can you say hi to our viewers?
Hello, everyone. Yes, greetings from Uganda, Kampala. Yeah, we are trusting God and staying strong. And I'm happy to be here. Thank you so much, brother, for inviting me to be part of this.
No, anytime, Trinity, I wish we can do this over and over, always and always again. So, Trinity, let's
Yes.
dive into the conversation. Please tell us about yourself. Generally, what are you doing? This is one of the young people would say the baddest entrepreneur, social entrepreneur I have met. But then I know Trinity is a good guy. He's not a bad guy. But young people with their slangs and all of that. Just tell us what you
Yeah.
do. He's a man with many caps, but I would allow him to introduce himself.
Yes, thank you so much. Recently I've been known as a chief job creator through my ventures, and that role is going away because of the new responsibilities that I get. But my name is Trinity. Grown and bred from one of the worst slums in Kampala, to the point whereby right now we are growing social enterprises. So I'm a serial social entrepreneur, philanthropist, and a creative designer. My day goes by me just creating opportunities for young people through the ventures we have. So as Era 92, we've grown up to having over 6 ventures apparently that are creating at least over 200 jobs. So we are really super excited to be part of this, and that's what I do.
I think you've gone ahead to tell us a bit of the fact that you are not just creating one job. You have six enterprises, six
Yeah,
enterprises. I mean, doing great
yeah.
stuff. But before we get to talk about what you do, like specifically what your enterprises do, can we dive a bit into your story? Like, let's. Did you were you born with a silver spoon? As they would say. Were you born with a silver spoon or with a gold spoon, or did your dad just hand over these big companies to you? Or where did you start? What was the story?
Mm.
What was the story behind Trinity, or what formed the background to now meeting Trinity?
Yeah, yeah. I think that's taking me back to a long bumpy journey that really brought me to where I am today. Yeah, I was born to a single mother. My mom, when my mom got pregnant at the age of 15, her family denied her, and also the owner of the pregnancy, my dad that time also denied to take me home. So my mom had to really resort to, heading on the streets. So she ran away from, at least 2 hours away from Kampala. She ran away from that village to migrate to the city. But as we know, rural urban migration, when people come to the city, most of the times when they don't have money, they end up in the slums. So in the 1992, when I was just 3 months old, my mom ended up in one of the worst slums called Kosovo. And Kosovo was named after the Kosovo of Russia. I don't know if you guys know Kosovo of Russia,
Yeah.
where there's a lot of killings, violence, and war. That was a description of the community that my mom, ended up in. So when my mom ended up in
Wow.
this, community, there was lots of violence, lots of killings, and we were supposed to be in our homes at 5 p.m. in the evening. And later
Wow.
than that, you could find yourself dead. So as a young boy growing up, 5 years, 7 years, my mom didn't afford enough money to put me to school. So that pushed me now to go on the streets. And then, being around the community, doing nothing. By the age of 9, I happened to join the gang. And the gang was called B13. But remember, at this stage of 9, I had already lost some of my friends at a young age. And now, me entering this gang, I thought that this is my rescue, because most times when you're living in a chaotic community, your only
Yeah.
resort is now to be part of the gang that can protect
Yeah.
you. So
Yeah.
the leader of our gang was a guy called Godi, and Godi, sorry, Godi, yeah, was calling himself God. So Godi became like our God in the Psalms as young boys, and he used to send us to steal. But every time, after 2 months, after 1 month, the group of 13 boys, young boys around 9 and 10 age, we were losing our lives. Three of my friends had lost their lives, and more young people were losing their lives. And then for me, one chaotic moment happened on Christmas Eve. Yes, New Year's Eve. We were celebrating, because when people are celebrating, that's the time for us to go out to loot. And now we had gone to loot a shop, but I remember I think the community was waiting for us. So as my guy was Godi, our leader, was heading into a shop to steal, the community had gotten ready for us. He was caught and he was
Wow.
stoned to death. So when Godi
Wow.
died, me and my friend who was gone with him to loot, we had no option but to run away. But a lady around that community
Mm.
across the trench told us that you boys are the next, you're gonna die soon. So we were so afraid, because we had lost, like, our security. The guy that we were looking up to protect us had lost his life. So we had to run away and hide. So when we went hiding, so many things happened. We started getting diseases, no food. I wasn't living at home. And then that's when actually a turning point came for us. So a group of missionaries had come to visit our community, and these guys had come to rescue young boys from the streets, to build a school and also an orphanage for them, and a place where they can meet. But they knew that it's very hard to get a street child off the streets unless you do something
Yeah.
big for them. So a
Yeah.
white lady asked me that, "Hey Trinity, hey Emmanuel," I was called Emmanuel then. "Emmanuel, what is one thing that you can give you that you never go back to the streets?"
Hmm.
And that was like, a aha moment for me. I was like, what can I say? But I had a huge passion with computers and stuff like that. So I asked for this lady for a MacBook computer. And I was at the age of 13. These ladies were true to their word. They took me to a shop next day and they gave me the computer. Once they gave me this computer, I think this was a turning point for me. On that day, they had organized the crusade. I gave my life to Christ, and I gotten this tool. That's why I love MacBooks, because they changed my lives. so,
Yeah.
so they changed my life. So when they got me this, it was a white MacBook computer, and I started training myself in movie maker, website development, and all lots of good things.
Yeah.
And I started leaving the streets, and I was doing so many things in the church. So, time went by, I was learning graphics, and at the age of 17, I was recognized as one of the budding graphic designers in a Coca-Cola, promotion in the community to promote talent. I was
Yeah.
discovered, I got a job, and I went into the corporate world. So I started working with big corporations, big advertising, companies, and my life was completely changing at a faster rate. But then there was a one thing that wasn't changing. the lives of my friends in the community. They
Yeah.
hadn't gotten the opportunity that I had. So after working 6 months into my internship with an agency that was working with Coca-Cola, I started developing a strong sense of responsibility for me to go back and
Mm.
start helping and creating opportunities for young
Yeah.
people, the same communities that I got. So the fact that I'd survived so many dates, I've survived so many, scenarios to lose my life. I was really strongly believing in the time that I'm here on earth and how can I use it to impact the lives of other young people. So I got the name Era and the year that I was born to call my company Era 92 with a vision just to create
Yeah.
opportunities, the same opportunities for young people. So yeah, we started with four young girls from the community, two of which we are still with them. Right now they're leading
Yeah.
big departments within our company. And we've worked with over
Wow.
1,500 young people to date. And so that has been the
Wow.
journey shortly. And
Wow.
it's been a journey of learning and trying to push the boundaries. But we thank God that I'm still alive and I'm still doing what I'm supposed to do for the kingdom.
I mean, I've always, the first time I heard your story, it was fascinating, because I know you had to edit, and just give us the summary version of what
Yeah,
gave the experiences that sort of resulted to the man we now know called Emmanuel
yeah.
Trinity. Now, the
Mm,
reason why I felt you are the right person to come on this conversation, particularly at this time, is because I'm looking at this whole subject matter of daring to thrive. And most times when I have conversations with people who, for one reason or the other, are hindered to grow in their lives, in whatever area of their lives, because again, I established the fact that Jesus came to give us life and life in abundance. But then you notice that there are many factors that have hindered a lot of people from experiencing life in abundance. So by implication, those people are not thriving. And most times the response I
mm,
get from people is the fact that their context, like for you, you would have just said, I mean, my mom was a single mom. I don't have any reason to have grown out of whatever experience that I had. But then when the opportunity came for you to leave the slums, you grabbed it and you made the most of it. And today you are back there investing and building the lives of many other young people. Now, I want you to share with me probably some principles. I'm not asking you for quick bullet steps, because I know it's a whole lot of experience. It's a journey. But in all of this
mm,
journey, what are some of the principles that you have learned that you believe will enable young people, no matter their context, no matter their experiences, to grow above the storm of lives, of the storms of
mm,
life, and to grow above
mm,
their present challenges? What are some of the principles that you have learned as a result of this whole experience and this whole journey? I know you talked a bit
mm,
about just being responsible, but just share with me some of those experiences or principles that you have learned as a result of your journey that has enabled
mm,
you to be where you are today, not just thinking about yourself, but thinking about your community and all of that.
mm. Yeah, that's that's quite a lot of things that I can talk about, but I'll talk about a few things that really changed my life.
Yeah.
There were two things that I learned so many times in the Sunday school. There was a there was a verse in Jeremiah. I don't know, Jeremiah 1:5, which says that God has many plans for you. I don't know how does that verse go. God has so many plans for you, plans for prosperity, plans for life. I don't know the right words.
Yeah.
But there is for me, it's really I realize that in whatever scenario that I'm in whatever life that I stage of life that I'm at, God has good plans for me in my store.
Mm.
And then I went on to add another verse which was called 1 Peter 4:10, that for each has received the gift, use it to serve one another as good stewards of God's varied grace. And when I compared those two verses, for me, I realized that my life, first of all, doesn't have to be suffering for the rest of my life, however much I've been in this situation. But there is something great about it, and there is so much leverage that for all of us who have come from poor backgrounds, we have this thing called adversity. And if we can use adversity for our own advantage, then we can create more. Because someone who is coming from poor background is more hungry, is
Yeah.
more resilient. So there's a lot of
Yeah.
gifts that come with us coming from these backgrounds, and we are more aggressive. So I'm going to add up these three things. There is one thing called service.
Yeah.
Many young people want to make money, many young people want to be of importance, but there's one thing that we have to utilize, and it's called service.
Mm.
Even if you want to make money, you have to serve someone, you have to serve a
Yeah.
need, you have to serve a solution. Even
Yeah.
if you want to grow your spirituality, you have to serve God and worship him. So
Yeah.
the number one thing that I'm going to talk about to young people is that we need to find ways to serve. If you want billions of money, you got to serve at least billions of people. If you
Yeah.
want to serve and change your community, you have to do something to serve and render something in value to the other party to get where you are. So
Yeah.
when you look at my
Yeah.
story, it didn't happen like in a click. I've been serving
Mm.
since the day I entered the church. I was serving God,
Yeah.
I was serving the people, and even today, the business I'm in is to serve people. So
Hmm.
let's serve God as we serve His people. That's one thing. Number one, and the
Yeah.
other thing is that for all of us who are coming from backgrounds of adversity, of challenges, boy, we have developed a tough skin, and we have to use that on our own advantage. For me, the reason
Mm.
why people see me doing things is because I fear to lose nothing, because I came from nothing.
Yeah.
You get it? And I know that I can survive on no food. I've been there when I wasn't eating food. I was there when I had no blanket. So if you carry that mentality in this soft life that we have today, boom, you're gonna be
Mm.
hungrier, you're gonna do more. And that's what Steve Jobs says, that you have to stay foolish and stay humble and stay hungry. Because many young people, when they start making $200 per month, $300 per month, they forget about it. But even today, me, I'm still hungry, because at least God promised us 100 in heaven and 100 on earth.
Mm.
We have to have dominion, we have to multiply, and we have to be fruitful. And we can't do that when we just in our comfort zone. We have to step out. Yeah, and also the last thing, be reminded that God has really, really good plans for our lives, no bad plan. And if you can, have that in your mind and reflect on whatever you have within your hands, maybe that could be my fourth point, is that you have to start with whatever you have. There is a story that you have in the Bible about the woman and oil something. When God asked them, "What do you have in your home?" And when lady this
Yeah.
God asked for this oil. It's the same thing with the gifts that we have. The only gift that God
Mm.
has given you, He can use that gift to take you to the parishes, to the palaces, to the tables of high influence. And we just
Yeah.
have to realize that. So those are quite a few things that I can think of for young people.
Very, very profound thoughts there, Trinity. I mean, and again, when we narrow down on service, because again, the experience I see a lot of times is people fail to understand that the model for thriving is usually countercultural. In the
Mm,
world, we're taught to be the boss, be on top,
mm,
you know.
mm.
but when it comes to kingdom principle of thriving, yeah, it's
Yeah,
amazing to see that you serve. And
you
and
serve.
and
Yeah.
it begins with as basic as service, and I love that. So let's talk
Mm.
quickly about a bit about uh, your six enterprises. And yes, let's talk a bit about them. So what when you
Yeah.
say you have six enterprises, what do you mean? And how were you able to set up
Mm.
six enterprises? But let's know what they are first. And then we can
Hmm.
narrow down into understanding what you do there, and probably we can learn some principles on because
Hmm.
it
Hmm.
is to be. We know
Hmm.
businesses. We understand different models of businesses, but you have held on to this whole idea of social enterprise. But first, let's meet your businesses. Like, tell me a bit about them. You know,
Hmm. Oh yeah. Can you hear me? Because you were breaking somewhere. Can you hear me well?
yes, I can hear you loud and clear.
Yeah, so I would say I started out because of the reason that I started a business was actually not to make money, was to
Yeah.
solve and the lives of to change the lives of my peers in my community. I didn't know the idea about social enterprise. I was just 19 years old, and I didn't know anything about social entrepreneurship. I got to read a book from Muhammad Yunus when I was just 22 years, and that's when I realized the thing about social business. But that really helped me to have a good start on starting a business without the intention of getting rich out of it. And that's a very, very important aspect of starting a business. Most young people today, entrepreneurship is cool because young people want to get money out of it. And that's the only problem we have across Africa, that you're
Okay.
not building business for to create intergenerational wealth. You're just building a business to get money to buy an iPhone. So I'll dive into my business. So I started with one social enterprise, but for me, I strongly believe in the power of multiplication. That once God has given you any gift and you still have the energy to do it, there is time for everything, the Bible tells us. And for me, I believe that right now it's my time for me to build everything that I have to build. So I'm utilizing my prime time very, very well to capitalize on the things that I can do. So I started out with Era 92 as a social enterprise. Era 92 was definitely an idea to create opportunities, but then I had to start with an industry. So I started with an industry that I knew better. I started with the creative industry. So we started Era 92 Creative, and Era 92 Creative is basically working with organizations around the world trying to develop their brands, and the profits that come from that uh, work helps us create opportunities for young people, give them jobs here in Kampala, Uganda. So when I developed that thing, I started building a community around me. So many ideas started to come within our social enterprise. So after Era 92 Creative, we went on to open another social enterprise, which is called Era 92 Elevate. Era 92 Elevate is an academy right now that is 50, that is also free plus also tuition. So as a social enterprise, we are giving free education for people who can't afford it, but also those who can afford it that are coming from better backgrounds, they're able to pay for it. So that way, we are able to cover our overheads so that we can stay in business and also keep the business sustainable. Then from that, we started, having over 100 young people, 200 young people through our cohorts, and then most of the young people who are going through our programs, empowerment programs, they lacked capital to access funding for their businesses. So we went on to start Era 92 Fund. Era 92 Fund is is running as a microfinance. Bro, can you hear me?
Yes, loud and clear.
Oh, yeah, you paused. So I was on Era 92 Fund, which is also running a microfinance. And the idea of the Era 92 Fund is to provide accessible credit for Ugandans. And we are doing the same model. We are providing capital for young people who are coming out of our programs, but also charging interest on clients who are coming outside our ecosystem. So from that, that's venture number three. Venture number four is Era 92 Cafe, which has launched recently. And Era 92 Cafe is on our property right now. And it's really, four-star small restaurant alongside the road. And it's providing a community where young people are coming to co-work, to eat, and also chill. And that has been really, really good uh, revenue for us. And we are empowering women who are coming from our community to work to the cafe and also learn how to bake, sell all these things. And that has been a successful venture. From that, we also have Era 92 Car Wash. Era 92 Car Wash is we have washing bay chains. We know well, Africa roads haven't been really made very, very nice. So we have a lot of dust in Uganda. And so the idea of Era 92 auto detailing and car wash came into existence. And right now we have three branches of car washes, and it's actually a good business. I wish I entered this business when I had just started because it really has good return on investment. The last one, is it? Oh, I don't know how many. Recently, we've just launched Era 92 Safaris, and now this is leading on a sustainable tourism across Africa. And the idea behind it is that people come onto our tours, but the profits that come from the tours help us fund our projects moving forward. So, if you come on a tour and visit Uganda and see the animals, the profits that come from that help us for further and make our program sustainable over here. So I think that's pretty much it. The other enterprises are still in the pipeline, like Era 92 Interiors and Era 92 Technologies. But the rest has been good, and we thank God for the opportunities and the connections that He has provided for us. Whoa. Loud and clear. My internet.
Trinity?
Yo, bro.
Yes, my network went down a bit, but I'm back.
Yeah. For me, I went on. I finished the enterprises when you're off. I don't know if I
Great,
don't know.
great.
I don't know if
So,
people would be still watching it, but
y-
yeah, I explained everything.
yes, yes, it's still running. It's still running on Facebook. So,
Yeah.
like, just to wrap up, setting up all of these things, what is challenge that you have had, and how have you been able to overcome it? Because again, I want to tie it all into rising and daring to thrive even amidst challenges.
Oh, I would think I don't know, maybe it cuts across Africa, but specifically here in Uganda for me, I've faced the problem of young people um, not really becoming really good professionals, and so
Yeah,
we have the problem of with the workforce, and that has been a challenge for me getting the good people for my business to get where I want. So you get this young person, you have a good idea, but they cannot execute at your level, or they can't execute at the level that you want to execute. But also it
yeah,
happens in a way that you can hire good people, but then that's quite a lot of money. So I'm talking in terms of someone who is starting up and doesn't have, $1,000 per month to pay someone.
that's true.
Yeah, and I realized that we do not have enough workforce for young people. That where you can get someone that is relevantly cheap, but at least grow with you enterprise,
enterprise.
so it's hard to get it. And
Yeah,
that has been a big challenge. In terms of capital, that has also been challenged, but I've been good at keeping the money within the business. So we don't get money out of
yeah,
our social enterprises for the first 2 years. We've just put back everything. And that is one lesson that I've learned that has helped me scale. So many people can see the business growing and say, hey, Trinity is also eating some money, but all the businesses we've started in the last year haven't gotten any single penny out of it, but we're putting it back. So that helps us create
yeah,
sustainable business, because the problem is that, like 8 in 10 businesses that start of young people fail
yeah,
because we feed on our babies. Business is like a baby. You don't have to eat it for the first, maybe 2 years until it reaches an adult stage. So that has been a challenge, but also good. One last the other thing is, yeah, those have been my two main challenges. I think people have been, because business is about people. So every day we are trying to hire new people, we are training and doing all sorts of stuff. So that has been my biggest challenge.
yeah. So maybe just to wrap up, you from the beginning you talked about this whole idea of this missionary lady asking you, Trinity, what can we give you that will take you out of the slums? Why didn't you ask her for millions of dollars? Why did you? What informed your response? For
Yeah.
because a typical young person today, if you ask him that question, what do you need? The young person would go for fish, rather
Yeah.
than be taught how to fish. But I want to
Yeah.
know what informed your choice of that decision as young as you were.
Um, I would say there are two things. I was a good artist. I was drawing. I'm a good artist. So I was also early on the internet. I was exposed to the internet. So being exposed to the internet, I felt like every time I'm paying money to for an hour at the cafe, why don't I get a modem and my computer? But um, but the most important thing is that I saw a white person with it, and I like, this is what I want, So when I saw it, I wanted to do those things that I saw. I watched on the internet, but I didn't have the tool. But that what drove that is that I really wanted to be a graphic designer. Even when I was asking that computer, I knew what I wanted. I knew what I wanted to do. And that's one of the challenges that young people face today. They really have no clue what they want to do. But let me take you back, is that 1 Peter 4:10, as each has received a gift, use it to serve one another as good stewards of God's varied grace. What that verse means, when you really settle down, is that every single one of us, God has given us a gift. For me, I know my gift is creative. God has given me that gift of art, creating, innovation, and stuff like that. And if I've received that gift, I have to use it to serve other people as a good steward of God's
That's true.
varied grace. So, if young people, one of the things that you need to do in this age is spend all your time not looking for a job, but finding your gift. And the only way to find your gift is to go and do things for free for other people. If you have time and you're in your vacation, go and volunteer to a company that is doing things that you want to do. Go and do it for free. Find someone who is in the future of what you want to be, or someone is a DJ and you want to become a DJ. Go and work with him for free for 2 years or 6 months, and change that over. And through that, you'll find yourself. Because for me, finding out that I love graphics, I tried so many other things. That's why I know how to make videos. That's why I know how to dance, singing. I sang. I did everything in my prime time, and that helped me discover myself. So don't sit down and find and wait to figure out your gift. Go and look for it. Try out things, play out around things, and then boom, God will show you your gift that is going to change your life.
notice you agreed to come online to share both your personal experiences and even the wealth of skill and knowledge that you've gathered over the years. Thank you so much, Trinity. Thank you, and I look forward to connecting with you.
Soon.
And I
Yeah.
also look forward to coming to Uganda to learn more from 92 Hands and see all of the stuff you're doing there. So
Amen.
I look
Amen.
forward to connecting with you, Trinity, and God bless you so much.
God bless you, my brother. Thank you so much for
So,
having
guys,
me.
thank you so much for those that were able to. Yes, please. So, guys, thank you so much for watching and keeping through to all the conversations today. I pray that the Lord will bless you and will just make these thoughts that we've heard uh, to make more sense to our individual lives as we dare to thrive above our challenges, above our weaknesses, above all the difficulties that are around us. If Trinity can thrive, I believe we all also can thrive by the power of God, because all things are possible through Him that gives us strength. Look forward to connecting with you again next week, right here on the I Conversation on the Replica Church. Remember, you matter to God, and God loves you so much. Bye bye.